got a bit of work to do at the Mark 3 whenever I get home today. Whenever I was fixing the axle bushes, I found a few holes under the floor off it, so they need to be fixed. So I'm going to get home and start pulling the interior out of the back off it, and then start having a look at what metal underneath the car is good. One of the seats out now. I just have to get this one out, and then that means I'll be able to lift the carpet. Both the back seat bases out, and now I'm ready to pull back the carpet and take a look at what's underneath it. Hopefully it's not too bad. So that's the carpet up out of the way there, and you can see in there it's starting to rot a bit, but I think that should tidy up, and that should all grind down to bare metal and paint okay. It's sort of starting to come up a bit there. That there hole there, it's quite bad. It has rusted through, and I'm guessing the reason why this here started to rust is there was grommets here and over there and over there, but them grommets have came off, and then from the grommets coming off the water's just started splashing in, and then the water's been setting, and that's what started the rust in there. So but no, I'll start grinding them down, hit them with a wire wheel and see what I can get off, and then look into making some patches for them. And had a lot of the metal there with a wire wheel and just used it to take off whatever sealer I couldn't get off with a chisel, and I'm pretty sure I have it back to pretty much all solid metal now. So I'm going to go and hoover it up, and then it's a bit out of shape just from it being rotten and weak, so I'm going to go and dolly up the edges and just try and have them as flat as I can, just so the patches that I'm making will fit in a bit nicer. So for marking out the patches for these here, I'm using this here method, which is like you lay tape on to where the hole is, and then because of what metal there is, it's pretty good for doing bits where like only parts of the metal have rusted through and a lot of it's still there, because it means then you can lay the tape on and that lets you know how much metal you'll need, and then you can mark on sort of the fold lines of where it's going to need to be. So there's going to need to be a fold line about there in it, the low middle point of it there, and then the other middle points about here, and then you can mark out around here where it's going to need cut. Just follow the lines around. And that there gives you a rough idea of how much metal you're going to need to make the patch. So then once you have all that there marked on, then you would pull it off and then stick it on to a bit of metal, and then you can use that there to trace around or to cut around, and that will be exactly the right size and shape that you need for doing that there bit there. I'm going to go and do that for them other two holes there now. That is all of the patches marked out on the tape now, and now I'm ready just to peel them off and go and stick them onto a bit of metal for them to be cut out. So I'm going to go and do that now. One patch here made and put in the hole, and it's lining up all okay. I'm just about to get the welder out and start to tack it together, so that there's the patch done now, well at least for this one anyway, all welded in. I didn't bother grinding it down because it doesn't really need it because it's going to be under the carpet, and then so I'll give it a coat of the zinc spray just to make sure it's protected, and I'll go under the car now and give it a coat of it from below just so it's okay for driving for the next few days. And you can see, got them two there still to do, so I'll start into them tomorrow. Maybe get the small circle cut out tonight, and then think about that big one over there at another point. Now, what I was just doing there was I was chiseling just along where needs bent up for it to fit in. But the reason why I was chiseling it is whenever you hit metal, whenever you work it, it hardens it. So whenever I chisel along this here edge here, it will create work hardening all along here. Meaning that whenever I'm working this, it won't want to bend past this line because of the hard edge. So it'll just mean it that I can bend this here into the shape that I want without distorting this here bit here that I want to stay flat. That's the patch all finished up now. And it's now sitting pretty close to the shape of the scrap bit. So all it needs done is set this on, mark out what needs cut out, and get this here set on and welded in. I've got the patch here made, all up, all folded, all the lines bent the right way, and she's ready pretty much to go in. It's just a case of getting this here cut out. I've got all the bits that need to come out traced, so I'll get that there cut out with the angle grinder and then start to weld this. It has quite a few different angles, and this here edge is quite hard to get right here, and then this here one was obviously quite easy because it's just 45-degree bend, but overall I'm quite happy with it. There's quite a lot of shape to it. That there's the patch all finished up now, and it's not the type. The patch is pretty good, but it was just, I'm having trouble still trying to get the welder set up. But it's just one of them things that I have to keep learning and retrying and testing. It's just a constant process trying to get the welder set up right. But overall, the actual metalwork of the patch was quite nice. So I didn't record anything last night, but I have the patch in and fitting, and it's well welded up all around the edges, and just sort of ground down the high bits on it, so it's not really bulky. Like, obviously it doesn't need to be flush because there's a carpet going over the top of it, and just give it a tight coat of paint and spray with the same zinc underneath as well. And in the end I will overseal it all with stone chip, but for the minute that's going to be how it is until I get the car up and jacked up on a bit of stone chip underneath it. So yeah, that's it for this here patch. And next thing to start into is putting the new front suspension into it. So I'm about to start into that there today.